to rock this place.
Welcome to the Buffalo Sports Conversation Room. I'm your host, Jamie Malloy, and ready to talk week 18, the last regular season week with you all and my co-host, Joe Dalio. And this week, folks, we have a special guest who happens to be a big Jacksonville Jaguars fan, Dylan Schmittler, who, so without any further ado, let's bring them on. So first, as always, here's Joe. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
It is going great, Jamie. How you doing today?
Good. How about you?
You're doing great. I tell you, some crazy football going on this past week, some crazy football going on all season long, and we may not have even seen the beginning of it yet based on what's potentially coming up.
I know, and I think it might be the craziest coaching carousel, too. I know we say it every year, but this year really feels like it.
I agree.
So, anyways, now I'm gonna bring on Dylan, our Jaguars fan. Is for those if you know, our teams are playing each other this week in the wild card round at Duval, so it's gonna be exciting. So without further ado, folks, now here's Dylan. Hey, Dylan, how you doing?
Hey, Jamie. Hey, Joe. Hey, unlike John Harbaugh, coaches haven't been fired yet.
I just that one surprised me more than any of them so far.
There's always one surprise every year. I didn't see Harbaugh getting canned.
No,
I don't think. Well, go ahead, Joe. But then I'll.
No, I don't think a lot of people did. We have a cohort here on our network from Baltimore, and we even asked him about that a couple of open mics ago, and he said, "Look, he's like the Baltimore fans might want him gone, but management is too close with him. He didn't see it happening," and I kind of agreed with that. And obviously, lots happens that we don't expect in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm. You also got to remember, though, Joe, this wasn't like, you stunk after a year, so you're gone. This is he was a good coach. He wore out his welcome mat type of firing. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Because he was there for so long. Sometimes that happens. You just wear out your welcome. The same thing that's happening with Mike Tomlin. I think he's wearing out his welcome too.
Mm-hmm.
So. But
Bill Belichick in New England.
Right.
Right. And I am wondering and hoping not the case, but wondering if another coach is going to get put on that list, one that we know very well.
I'm not going to say his name. But
I'm not saying it should happen, but I'm wondering if that extra name is going to be added to the coaching carousel or the questions about it.
I'll save the question for a bit later.
Okay. But it is a good question that I think might come up. Not just here.
Right. So, you guys ready to talk about the 4 p.m. Saturday kickoff game between the 8-8 Carolina Panthers versus the 7-9 Tampa Bay Bucks at Raymond James Stadium? Man, it's just so wild, Joe. For 4 years or going on 5 now, we've had to talk about how 8-8 and 7-9 doesn't end the season like it used to be for so long. 16 games, that extra 17.
Right.
And the inevitable 18th coming up, but
Oh gosh.
yeah.
Do we have to talk? Do we have to talk about the lousy division, the lousiest division in football? I mean, the Panthers should be disqualified from hosting a playoff game.
You and my uncle think alike, Dylan. Anyway, anyway, with 9:31 left in the first, Cade Otton caught an 18-yard pass from Baker Mayfield, and Tampa led early, 7-0. With 1:57 left in the first quarter, Chase McLaughlin kicked a 29-yard field goal to end the quarter, 10-0 Bucks. With 10:50 left in the second, Tommy Tremble, awesome name, caught a 10-yard pass to cut the lead to 10-7. With 2 seconds left in the half, McLaughlin kicked his second field goal of the game, this time for 36 yards to close out the first half, 13-7 Tampa. There was no scoring in the third quarter, which brings us to the fourth. With 14-12 in the fourth quarter, McLaughlin kicked his third field goal of the game, this time for 48 yards to bring the score to 16-7 Tampa. With 2:27 left in the fourth quarter, Jalen Coker caught an 8-yard pass from Bryce. Forever young, I want to be forever young, to end the game at 16-14 Tampa. So, Joe, what did you think about that low-scoring game? Do you think the weather played a role in it?
Yeah, the weather definitely played a role in the low scoringness of it. I'm not surprised that Tampa won. I would have picked them to win this game. Kind of feel bad that they win this big game and don't make the playoffs, but I don't feel bad because whose fault is it that they got themselves in this situation, right? I mean, what did they start the year? 6-2? And I thought they were a serious Super Bowl contender halfway through this season and then just free fell out of it and needed help after that and didn't get the help. But, again, that's their own fault that they put themselves in that position. So good win for Tampa. Yes, they end on a high note. Yes, they gave themselves a chance to make the playoffs. But again, put themselves in that position. Now, I am one that, I see what people are saying about them not getting a home game. I'm big on divisions. I guess that comes from my baseball background and that. Now, even bad divisions like this, there was a 7-9 team that won their division not too long ago, right? Was it Washington? I think they were 7-9 before we went to 17 games. And my take is, still, if you think you're a better team than them, as in the Rams going to Carolina, then beat them there. Okay, so I still think Carolina deserves to have the home game. And again, if the Rams think they're a better team, then okay, go beat them.
Okay, what about you, Dylan?
I think the Panthers should make the playoffs, but this game should be in LA. I don't think 8 teams below 500 should be eligible to host playoff games. But be honest with you, I'm surprised Todd Bowles is still coaching the Bucs because I think what happened with Tampa is that Baker Mayfield regressed partly because Liam Cohen is now coaching my team instead of Baker. And maybe the quarterback on the wall helped from getting a new leader.
Well, yeah, but get this too, though. Carolina's head coach, you got to remember,
Coach Baker Mayfield,
Dave Canales,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was before Cohen. Dave Canales. So now we're going to move on to the second Saturday game. The sure money-making business that is the NFL. Gotta love those 2 Saturday games, right, Joe?
Yeah, hey, it's been a tradition since I've been watching football back in the 70s. Late in the season, getting those Saturday games, I really do enjoy them.
Mm-hmm. Even back when the NFL wasn't corporate, you still love the Saturday games.
Right.
But Anyway, so we're gonna move on to that game between the 13-3 Seattle Seahawks. Legion of Boom 2.0. Anybody with that defense?
Oh, yeah.
Against the 12-4 San Francisco 49ers with Robert Saleh, we them boys as their defensive coordinator. We them Niners, actually, at Levi Stadium. So anyway, here we go. With 4:29 left in the first quarter, Zach Charbonnet, wine for everybody, ran it in for a 27-yard touchdown to bring the score to 7-0 Seattle. With 5:19 left in the second, Jason Oscar Myers kicked a 45-yard field goal to bring the score to 10-0 Seahawks. With 1:06 left in the second, Eddie Pinero Bread kicked a 48-yard field goal, making bread on that kick, to end the first half, 10-0 Seattle. With 4:15 left in the fourth quarter, Jason Oscar Myers kicked a 31-yard field goal that would end the game at 13-3 and give Seattle the number 1 seed in a first-round bye. Boy, Joe, I think Bradley Cooper would really hate our podcast right now since we're doing all these food puns, right?
Yeah, right.
Yum, yum.
But the NFL is not about food, right?
I love those commercials.
Me too.
I love Bradley Cooper and those. Those are funny. So, Joe, what do you think about Seattle's defense playing hot at the right time of the year? There's good, and then there's holding the 12-4 49ers, who are a good team and chasing right behind them. Good type of defense. I mean, you obviously had the Legion of Boom about a decade ago, but where do you think this defense actually ranks compared to the Legion of Boom?
Yeah, I mean, too short a sample size, I guess, to make that comparison, but they're playing an awful lot like them. And again, I wasn't surprised. I really thought Seattle would come into Santa Clara and take this game, especially after losing to them in the beginning of the season. I think Seattle's the better team, not that Santa Clara is any slouch. And again, don't be surprised if they go on a run and make a Super Bowl run. But I think Seattle is a better team, and they came into Santa Clara and proved it. And again, coming very close to that, Legion of Boom, team from years ago. And again, they keep playing like this, then you will be able to make the comparisons because they'll take this team all the way to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. And Dylan, what do you think about second-year coach Mike McDonald coaches the team? E-I-E-I-O.
Hey, Jamie, I'll tell you this. I think the Ravens missed Mike McDonald because Baltimore.
I was just going to say that.
Baltimore's the number 1 defense his last year, and that defense couldn't stop Pittsburgh's wide receivers named Terrell Austin, Adam Thielen, and Joe Schmo running on Sunday night.
Right, and it's easy to blame Zach Orr for that, though, but I'm not going to pin that all on Zach Orr because he did have his good moments, too, I think.
And maybe if Kyle Hamilton hadn't been concussed by his own player, things might have been different.
I still think, like I said, Zach Orr's a pretty good defensive coordinator. He had a big shoes to fill with McDonald, so sometimes you can't live up to that.
And everybody loves offensive mind coaches. You know what? Mike McDonald may be the best defensive mind coach in the game right now.
Mm-hmm. And that's
our coach Joe, look at our coach, right? What was he? Defensive coordinator, right?
That's right.
So, let's see what we got here. I was going to say, Dylan, what do you think of Mike McDonald, though, taking his team from being the last team eliminated last year at 10-7 to being the number 1 seed at 14-3 in the NFC and kind of almost bringing them back to the Pete Carroll days of when they were just a wagon.
You know what? This team reminds me. You know what? I think Mike McDonald and this team remind me so much of the Legion Boom. Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold. Now, I think everybody loves Sam more. Wide receiver wise, the best thing Seattle did in the offseason was trading DK Metcalf because Jack Smith and Jigba led the league in receiving yards.
Right.
You could tell he was ready. He was ready to take
Jason set a Rose Bowl record for receiving yards, and as Joe knows, anybody who sets a Rose Bowl record, that's not cheap.
Right.
The Rose Bowl's been around longer than Jamie and I have been alive combined. Probably double. Well, I don't know, double.
Even you could throw me into that mix. Like I said, I got you guys by a few years here, but I mean that goes way beyond my time too. So probably all of us combined, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but Joe, you don't look a day over 30 though. I gotta say that.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I don't
you
feel
got
it
good
either.
genes for your age. So there we go. We got our thoughts on that. So let's move on. Let's take a look at the AFC East showdown. Do we really have to, though? But yes, we do. Between the 7, 8, and 1, Joe, that dang 1, right?
There's that 1.
And we actually have a team. We have that other team who has that dang 1, but they're in the playoffs.
Right.
So with the 7, 8, and 1 Dallas Cowboys taking on the 3 and 13 New York Giants at MetLife Stadium. With 9:19 left in the first quarter, Ben Souls kicked a 45-yard field goal to give the Giants the lead 3-0. Here we go, Joe. Get ready. With 5:24 left in the first quarter, Brandon Aubrey kicked a 22-yard field goal to not to score at 3-0. With 1:20 left in the first quarter, Souls Train kicked his second field goal of the game, this time for 35 yards to bring the score to 6-3 Giants. Oh, God. 6-3, Joe, right? The Bills have been part of 2 of those games. One where they, in the replacement game, where they beat the Giants, and the other game, lost to the Browns. Forget, I was at that game.
Oh, yeah, luckily I didn't see it.
On the Cowboys' next drive, Jaden I'm blue, da-ba-dee-da-ba-da, scored his first career NFL touchdown for 14 yards to give the Cowboys their first lead of the game, 10-6. With 9:45 left in the second quarter, Souls kicked his third field goal of the game, this time for 23 yards to bring the score to 10-9 Cowboys. With 31 seconds left in the half on 3rd and 16, Jackson Dart, a.k.a. Josh Allen 2.0, threw a quick 29-yard pass to Daniel Bellinger to close out the first half, score is 16-10. G-Man. With 9:52 left in the third quarter, Dart threw a 13-yard touchdown pass to Tyrone Tracy Jr., and the 2-point conversion was good, increasing the Giants' lead to 24-10. It's like, Joe, why couldn't the Giants play like this all year, right?
Because they don't play 18 games against the Cowboys. That's why.
Cowboy defense, and now Matty even.
Right. To start the third quarter, Phil Bills Maffa rushed for a 1-yard touchdown to keep the score within a touchdown at 24-7 Giants. With 9:25 left in the fourth quarter, Souls kicked his fourth field goal of the game, this time for 30 yards, bringing the score to 27-17 Giants. Scoring his 5th rushing touchdown of the season, Devin Singletary from the Bills scored, or as they call him, the motor, scored on a 6-yard run, and he really went vroom, vroom, vroom on that one to give the Giants the win, 34-17. So, Dylan, what did you think of the Giants finishing the last 2 games strong, but ruining their draft board chances from picking number 2 to now picking 7th in the draft?
You know what? New York Giant fans may disagree with me, but I think New York made a huge mistake. What do you think? I personally think the Giants should have tanked for the number 1 pick because I think Mendoza's that good. And there's a lot I like about Jackson Dart, but the Giants could have traded Dart for a bevy of picks. But you know what? New York's a very interesting team this offseason with a lot of cap room, good young quarterback, great left tackle, Cam Scatterable, Malik Neighbors, although I'm not hearing great reports about his recovery. Maybe it's more than an ACL. Maybe Neighbors tore his ACL and MCL, which could threaten the start of next year. But there's a lot I like. Plus, that division, Washington and Dallas. Oof.
And Joe, what do you think of Mike Kafka getting an interview for the job? If he doesn't get the Giants job, I wonder if there's a possibility he could get a offensive coordinating job with somebody else, because I think he did have the Giants still playing hard and to make a good impression by finishing out with 2 wins in a row. I wonder if he does get the job. He could. You never know if they want. If Joe Shane believes in continuity, right?
Yeah, and I'm not so sure that he will, and I don't want to spend too much time on this because I know we got our big matchup to talk about here. But I'll say a few things about that. I mean, he'll get at least interviewed. I think the Giants may be better off with a bigger name. And again, you were saying how Giants fans feel. I'm a Giants fan. That's the team I grew up with. I'm a little bit more of a Bills fan here, but would love to see the Giants get back into the upper echelon of the NFL. And I think they might be better off with, again, maybe a bigger name coach, but, we'll let that play out. Now, here's something interesting on the other side. I tweeted this the other day. I didn't realize it until I was digging through some stats. Dallas Cowboys, according to what I read, only the 8th team in NFL history to give up over 500 points in a season. So I didn't get a list of the other ones or when the last time this happened, but 511 points and only the 8th time that's happened. Now, part of that is because we got an extra game here. They've always played 14 games or 16 games, and they've only been playing 17 for a few seasons now. But I think that tells you all we need to know about the Cowboys this year.
Not offensively, just their defense. Their offense is good. If they can just, like I said, Shoddy's not the problem, but they did fire Matt Eberflus, which that was expected. And can
the Cowboys get somebody to cover a wide receiver?
Right. Offense was certainly not the problem. I mean, they had one of the better offenses in the league, but you're not going to win games giving up, plays like they did and points like they did. So
I think they could fix that. I think they can get that defense fixed quick, because you think about it, Joe, you're going in an off season, but think about it. Last year you were worried about Micah, if he was going to be on the team or not. Obviously there was some feelings about getting rid of him, but like I said, at least now you got rid of him. You played through that historically bad year. Now you go into a full offseason without him, and you just get a defensive coordinator to, fix this defense. And like I said, at least now they're going into a full offseason knowing that Micah's gone. So that's the
right.
Day.
Well, let's just say their defensive ranking has nowhere to go but up.
Right, especially with I do like the additions that they made at the deadline were good, like Logan Wilson and Quincy Williams were obviously good, but they need more of those type of players.
First round picks for the Cowboys, though. But you know what? The Cowboys' defense was bad this year. At least the Cowboys picked off a few passes again, unlike the team that the Bills whooped up again on Sunday.
I cannot believe I didn't know that stat until they almost made an interception in that Bills game. And then the announcer said they didn't have a single. I was like, that's impossible. I could not believe that. I didn't know that was the case until that happened.
I can confirm this. My team got a pick 6 against the Titans, but we were playing the lonely Titans.
Right. But still, that is unheard of. And again, isn't their coach a defensive specialist?
A defense, yeah. Somebody who played cornerback in the NFL.
I'm not here to say whether he should stay or not. Like I said, I believe it or not, I think the Jets should give him one more year. We've talked about that.
Yeah, Joe, they did say he was coming back. He is coming back for another year.
Well, get this. The Jets are going to be a bad team again next year.
And it's very possible. And then I don't think.
Yeah, but I don't think 3-14 bad. Maybe they at least improve to 6-11 or 7-10, and that'll be good enough to keep Glenn for a third year.
Oh gosh,
I don't think so.
No, that seriously, Dylan. I'm not being sarcastic. That's at this point that'd be an accomplishment.
I still don't think he stays if they do that. They're going to have to almost magically become a playoff team for him to stay, I think.
Yeah, but Joe, I just think it's crazy. I think the NFL is actually in a really bad predicament where this whole you got to be good in 1 year or you're gone, because people got to remember what you obviously know this, Dylan, with what Leon Cohen and Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel did. What people don't understand is that's an anomaly. Like, that doesn't happen with a first year coach from every year. Like, you're not just going to get 3 guys every year that are just going to take a team from worst to first in their first year. Like, that just doesn't happen. But that's, unfortunately, that's the hill that they're dying on now. And I think that's a bad hill to die on with coaching hires moving forward.
I also think some of these teams, particularly at the bottom, whether it be the Jets, the Browns, the Giants, the Raiders, they're actually, in a way, getting worse because of the quarterback play Mendoza's going, but if Dante Moore doesn't come out, guess what? These guys are going to end up going after, these teams are going to go after Malik Willis, some of these backup quarterbacks, maybe Mac Jones.
I think Mendoza's going to go to the Jets, but we'll see.
No, the Raiders are going to take Mendoza. Tom Brady wants Mendoza.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, but.
You know, just before we move on to the coaching carousel thing, this is not just a football thing. I just, there's a guy in the NHL named Pete DeBoer. I don't know if you are familiar with him. He takes a semifinal team, a team to the semifinals of the Stanley Cup. They lost in 7 games to the team, obviously, that had a shot at the cup. And he gets fired after that. And it's not like they had this major choke or, major collapse or anything like that. A dude takes a team, has a great season.
The conference final.
And he takes them to the conference final. Game 7, mind you, that he loses by 1 goal, I think. Again, it's not like there was this, they were winning 6-0 in the last period and they collapsed and lost, or they were winning the series 3-0 and choked it away. I just don't understand how a coach gets fired like that. I want the Sabres to get him. But so this is not just an NFL thing. This happens all over sports now, unfortunately, and that precedent just continues.
Joe, I hate to break it to you, but I don't think the Sabres are going to be getting Peter DeBoer anytime soon. You've seen the way they've been playing lately.
Yeah, I still think it would be in their best interest, but that's for another time and place.
We do have a new but guess what? They fired Kevin Adams and they brought in my guy. Remember I told you Yarmo?
Yep.
I told you about.
And that's a smart choice.
I told you you would like this guy. He's a European F around and find out type of general manager, and that's what the Sabres need. And think about it. You know what it reminds me of too, Joe? Remember how when the Bills went through Marv Levy and Russ Brandon, 2 guys that were, not obviously that didn't have the qualifications to be a GM. And then they went back to Buddy Nixon. It's like, yay, we got a real general manager, it's the same thing with the Sabres. Like Kevin Adams, they hired for marketing, right? And they promote Yarmo, and everybody's like, oh, they actually have a guy who's qualified to do the job now, who can actually, at least they have a real GM now, a guy who can be a GM. It's the same feeling, you know?
That's right.
So anyway,
but yeah, do you think we should start talking about what's going to happen this weekend here?
Yeah, let's do it. But we're going to get to that though. Let's take a look at the game of the week. Is it really a game of the week though? Because we won big, or is it not the game of the week if you're a Jets fan? Anyway, between the 3-13 New York Jets taking on our 11-5 Buffalo Bills. On the Bills' opening drive, Dawson Knox scored his 4th touchdown of the season on an 11-play, 80-yard drive, bringing the score to 7-0 Bills. And what do they always say on the Salino commercial? Thanks, Dawson. With 11:47 left in the second quarter, Ty Johnson scored his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season on a 13-play, 84-yard drive, taking 6:22 off the clock to increase the Bills' lead 14-0. With 5:04 left in the second quarter, Johnson scored his 2nd receiving touchdown of the season on a 5-play, 51-yard drive, bringing the score to 21-0 already. With 7:52 left in the third quarter, big game Gabe Davis scored his 1st touchdown of the season on an 11-play, 54-yard drive, taking 5:03 off the clock. And because Matt Prater got hurt again, they went for the 2-point conversion, increasing their lead to 29-0. With 12:09 left in the fourth quarter, Johnson earned his $250 extra salary bonus by scoring.
Wait a minute. The Bills only paying him $250.
$250,000.
Yeah, that looks a bit more.
No, it's a bonus.
I know, bonus.
Yeah. By scoring his 2nd touchdown of the game, but the 2-point conversion failed, bringing the score to 35-0. With 7:37 left in the fourth quarter, the Jets, did you see what I did there? With 7:37 left in the fourth quarter, the Jets.
With a 7:37.
Only 7:37, right? Finally got on the board as Andrew Beck scored his 2nd touchdown of the season, and the 2-point conversion was good. Yay, the Jets scored. Celebrate. Bring out Cool in the Gang. Celebrate good times. Come on. But it was, as JoJo would say, it was just too little too late, as the game would end at 35-8. So, Joe, what did you think of Mitch Trubisky, Magic Mitch, playing with 20 to a 29, or play with going 22 of 29 for 264 yards for 142.1 QBR? He actually looked like Josh Allen when he was playing out there, Mr. Trubisky.
Yeah, he was playing with some confidence out there. I like it. Now, again, if I was the quarterback of the Bills, I'd be playing with confidence against the Jets. But still, I thought he played a solid game. I like the way the Bills handled all these situations. They let Josh Allen take his snap. Now, I actually thought he'd play a little longer. I thought maybe it would be like a preseason game where he'd play a set or something like that. But I have no problem with the fact that they took him right out. James Cook, they let him get some yards, and he took advantage of that. I'm sure, McDermott did not want to put him in there at all, probably, but they wanted him to get the rushing title. So they put him in, and he had 2 or 3 carries, but he got like 30 yards out of those. So he definitely helped himself. So I liked, and then they took him right out of there. These guys were getting these incentives and their bonuses. I was getting a little jealous. This guy's getting $250,000 for this play. That guy's getting $100,000 bonus for that play. And just, they're trying to get Ty Johnson in the end zone to get his bonus and stuff. So, they were throwing money out left and right.
You just channeled you're into Oprah there, right?
Yeah, I guess. But, going on the other side here, I was talking about the Cowboys and how, they broke some kind of, or only the 8th team. I didn't read this, but I think, and again, I was traveling home and I heard this on on a sports network that they said, I think this is the worst points differential ever or in so many years for the Jets for a team in December. All right. I think the Jets had the worst differential ever in the month of December, or if it was ever, it was very close. And this team, that's why I was wondering, because in the beginning we had talked on the show a few times. Yeah, Aaron Glenn should get another chance. But man, I mean, I've never seen a team quit so obviously as the Jets. Usually when a team gets smashed, at least they come out with pride against a divisional opponent and their second stringers and show up. But that did not happen in this case. And just, this team quit more obviously than I've seen a team quit in a long time. And this has been going on for a month. But we won't talk about that. Again, just the Bills, I like the way they handled this. They did what they had to do. These guys showed up and played. We were talking about the local boy, Joe Andreessen, as we were communicating through the week. And, I live in the town and my girls went to school with him. And he showed up and played a great game. And these second stringers that got their opportunities in this game really did an excellent job for the Bills. And I think they should be very proud of the effort that they put forth.
Mm-hmm. So here we go. And like I said, though, Joe, what did you think of all the backups players, but they played like starters? It was like they actually played they actually learned how to play on both halves of a game, even with
right. Yeah, right. With the second stringers in, maybe they should learn from that.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you right now, if they show up in the third quarter of a playoff game, it's not going to go well for them.
Right. Mm-hmm. And Joe, like I said, I think you already said it was a good idea, but it was announced that Aaron Glenn would be coming back to coach the Jets another year. And you already said it was a good idea. And I said the same thing. So now that we know we'll be heading to Jacksonville and Duval this week for the wild card round, let's make our predictions and scores as well as the other teams around the league. So Dylan, you could go first, then Joe will, as I read the playoff teams, and then I'll go last with my prediction score. Okay, so starting off with the AFC, we got the 6-seeded Buffalo Bills traveling to Duval to take on the number 3 Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm not picking this game. I can't. I'm not jinxing. I'm not jinxing my team. I'm not picking it. I refuse.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, Joe.
That's fair enough. Now, and then I'm going to give my score, but I am going to ask, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, Dylan. Now, I obviously, this is a lot from the heart. This one, I do have Bills 27, Jags 24. All right. But a question for Dylan here, and then Jamie, I'll turn it over to you to get your question now, or to get your prediction for this game. So let's say it's Sunday night. All right. 7:00. And ESPN is reporting and doing an evaluation of, and again, as a Bills fan, I'm hoping this is not the evaluation they're doing. Okay. ESPN is talking about how the Jags beat the Bills. All right, Dylan, if that's what they're discussing Sunday night at 7:00, how is it happening?
Couple things. One, Jackson's great against the run this year, so obviously James Cook led the league in runs, I think the number one idea is stop the run and force Josh Allen to be his 2, limit Josh Allen scrambling and big plays, and 3, run the ball, keep that Bills offense off the field, and can Trevor Lawrence keep up his heater? I mean, 19 touchdowns, 1 turnover in his last 6 games. And, in a way, what not a lot of people are thinking of is the weather. And usually you don't think of weather in Florida, but guess what the Bills don't have this time of year? Warm weather. Sure, it might not be July weather, but if it's 60 degrees, that would be warm for Western New York this time of year.
Right.
And by the way, I don't know what it is, but the Jags all 2-0 against the Bills in the playoffs.
And and even regular season, it hasn't been pretty. And then real quick too, let's say we're having the other conversation. ESPN's talking about how the Bills beat the Jags. Why would they be saying that?
Josh Allen.
Okay.
Josh Allen's amazing, and it doesn't matter how Trevor Lawrence is great. Josh Allen put his team on the back, and James Cook ran for 127 yards. And Trevor Lawrence pooped his pants, which he did against the Chargers 3 years ago, and somehow won.
Yeah.
I remember that.
All right,
game.
Jamie, who's going to win this game?
Well, I think the Bills could pull off this game. I got let me see, what did I say? I think I said 24-21. But I guess this may shock you, but it may not. The Bills are actually 1.5 point road favorites in this.
That doesn't make any sense with how the Jags have played the last 2 months, though.
And you know what, though? And again, I make a lot of bets in the NFL. And whenever something doesn't make sense, I'm jumping on it. Right now, I'm not putting anything on this game. Believe me, I'm avoiding this one. Again, like you said, I don't want to jinx my team. I don't want to, put that pressure. I just want to watch and enjoy this game. So I'm not putting anything on it. But normally in the NFL, when something, quote, doesn't make sense like this, count me in. I'm all in on it. Not this game, though.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one for you. One more. If the Jags beat the Bills, is Sean McDermott coaching the Bills next season?
I say yes.
Okay. I think so. But, I mean, how many playoff losses do we got? And, again, with this coaching carousel that we're seeing, we just saw Harbaugh get fired. So, I think – and he's accomplished more than McDermott has.
Harbaugh won the Super Bowl.
Right. So, I let's just say if you're asking me now, even if it's different. If the Jags win 30-7, we might be having a different conversation. If it's a close game, I think that McDermott sticks around. But I would not put it past, the Bills to say, you know what, we finally got to go in a different direction. So and honestly, again, if the Bills lose this game and they decide it's time to move on for McDermott, I would not be upset with that. I wouldn't be upset if they kept him either, but it's a very interesting question that I've been thinking a lot about, especially today, as, again, a guy of this caliber. We're not talking about a guy who's been coaching Arizona to, 3 crappy years. We're talking about a guy who's turned a franchise around and made a lot of contributions here. So, and has a lot invested in this team. Again, nothing would surprise me at this point, and I'd be okay either way.
I would argue in many ways there's no team with more pressure to win this year than the Bills. Guess who the Bills don't have to play in the playoffs this year? Lamar Jackson,
Exactly.
Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes. Let's see.
I've heard that.
Let's see. I don't know. Josh Allen, first, second best quarterback in football. If the Jags don't win this year, say, well, it's Liam Cohen's first year and they're playing Josh Allen. If the Patriots don't win this year, Mike Vrabel's not getting fired. If the Texans don't win this year, DeMeco Ryans or Sean Payton won't get fired. Mike Tomlin might go to Prime or whatever, but that's a story for another day. Or Jim Harbaugh with Justin Herbert. If the Buffalo Bills don't win this year, that means the greatest quarterback in the world, the quarterback who we all assume, whether you're a Jag fan, a Bill fan, a Chief fan, whatever, maybe Chief fan aside, is undoubtedly one of the most talented quarterbacks in football, but he's never played on the big stage. Mm-hmm. And yet, Sean McDermott's a defensive mind coach, and whether you like it or not, Sean McDermott owns it. I mean, I would hate it. I think Sean's a really good coach, but I want to see what Josh Allen can do with an offensive-minded head coach, and more importantly, a wide receiver room. Because I think both of you would agree with me. Buffalo's wide receiving core is one of the worst in the league. And the fact that the Bills couldn't get Jacoby Myers before the trade deadline befuddled me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming from a team that got Myers.
Right. And I agree with everything you just said, and it might be time for that. Again, also, the Bills in the McDermott era have not won a road playoff game either. One of those being at Jacksonville not too long ago. So that's another thing, and again, that doesn't matter as much to me. But, yeah, it'll be interesting. Go ahead, Jamie.
Do you think Brandon Beane stays?
Absolutely. He should.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting if the Bills clean house.
Yeah.
Well, hey, guess what? You know what we would do? Guess what would do, Joe?
What?
Go get Harbaugh?
No, there's a certain New York Giants coach.
No.
Just got fired, right?
No. I'll tell you this.
And McDermott's gone. Hello, Brian Dable. You want to come be a head coach for Josh Allen?
No.
That would be a perfect coming full circle story, though. If McDermott got fired to bring Dable in.
No, how about this? Why not bring John Harbaugh to Buffalo?
Brandon Beane doesn't believe in bringing in retreaded old guys. We don't do that.
Retreaded old guys? Well, Sean McDermott's a retread.
Not when we hired him. He wasn't. He was a first time head coach. He was a defensive coordinator when we hired him. He never been a head coach. So that's not true, Dylan.
I've got one for you. Why not Kevin Stefanski then?
Maybe. I'm not opposed to that, actually.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
The problem is if the Giants don't snatch them up before then, that's the thing.
Now, it's an interesting question, Dylan, because I thought of that today, or whoever was mentioning Brian Dable. I thought about that today, and it's like, I don't know, but, you mentioned Harbaugh. I would take Harbaugh over Dable. I honestly would. Now, what I think might happen is Brady gets hired by somebody, and then there's that offensive coordinator opening, and I would take, Brian Dable back in a heartbeat. And again, this is all just,
but Joe, remember how Brandon Beane and the Bills do things. They don't hire the John Harbaughs, and they guys that have never, because we tried that route with Rex Ryan and all these other retread guys, and it didn't work. There's a reason why we went with McDermott, who wasn't a head coach at the time. Brandon Beane's not going to go for a Harbaugh. Like we don't do that.
Does it mean the Bills are cheap?
No, it means that we don't go for coaches that are past their time. We don't do that.
Pre Brandon Beane, I might have agreed and said yes. Not now, I don't think. But again, it's going to be very interesting if the Bills lose this game badly. That might answer the question right there.
And you got to remember, Dylan, it's the days of it's a young coaches. It's a first year coaches league now. Why do you think Belichick's not in the NFL anymore? I mean, Andy Reid's still there, but there's a reason why Harbaugh isn't there anymore, because it's a younger coach, first year coach type of league now. That's why.
But what do you think happens though? Let's say it's 21-21. Late in the game, and McDermott makes a questionable coaching decision late in the fourth quarter that costs the Bills the game. What happens then? Now, it's not a blowout. Dylan, what happens then?
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay. And again, it wouldn't surprise me, but because again, that's happened before in playoff games too. And again, maybe just patience runs out. We'll see. I'm not saying it should happen, but I'm certainly saying it could.
By the way, I think both of you agree with me. This year's playoff field feels so wide open. Like, would it surprise me if the Bills lost it on Sunday? No. But would it surprise me if the Bills reached the Super Bowl? No.
Okay.
And for that matter, would it be crazy if Jacksonville lost on Sunday or ended up in Santa Clara?
I've been saying this whole second half of the season now, or especially once the playoff teams are determined, there's 14 teams in these playoffs. I honestly believe 12 out of the 14 have a legitimate shot to get to the Super Bowl. I really do.
I don't know about 12. I think 8 or 9 could end up in a championship game. I think realistically.
Speaking of that, let's move on to the next games. So number 2, we got the number 7 Chargers at the Patriots.
You know what? As Governor Schwarzenegger once said, "Go Chargers, go!"
Wow, you're picking the upset.
All right, I got the Patriots 27, Chargers 21.
I have LA winning 19-17.
Okay.
I got the Patriots winning 23-20. Okay. Now, number 3, we got the Houston Texans taking on the number 4 Pittsburgh Steelers. Dylan, you want to go first?
Well, you know what? The Steelers haven't lost a home Monday Night Football game in my lifetime. And that continues when the Steelers win 23-21 on Monday night.
Wow. I think this game's going to be a lot closer than people think. I have Houston 21, Pittsburgh 20.
That's as close as it could get.
Right? What do you got, Jamie?
I think Houston's going to win this game. I'm going to say 23-17.
Okay.
That defense, that's why.
And then NFC, so that would be Rams and Panthers. Oh, gosh. Rams 36, Carolina 20.
All right. I think the Rams are going to be a little ticked off because didn't they just get spanked in Carolina about a month ago?
Yep.
So I got it. You said 36-20. I say 30-20 in favor of the Rams.
I actually got Carolina 24-23.
Wow. All right.
Bryce Young. Hey, Bryce Young gets his first playoff win. It could happen. You never know.
No, and you know what? These home games, even though, again, you know, the Panthers have the inferior record, I've seen this happen before. I think when Seattle was like 8-8 and they played the Saints in Seattle.
That was the beast mode.
Seattle was 7-9 and the Saints were 11-5.
Right. And that game in Seattle, you know, Seattle was very good at home. This was before their Super Bowl, I think. And they ended up winning that game and playing dominant. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Rams are going to dominate here. But again, Carolina is a good home team. And even though, again, I think the Rams are the superior team, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, the Panthers did take advantage of home field and you know, pulled an upset. Again, I think the Rams win by 10.
I will say this for the other 2 NFC games. I don't feel comfortable making picks because I want to see Green Bay and San Francisco's injury report. I think if Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall play, the Niners are going to be able to make plays more than they did on Sunday. Green Bay's in the same manner. I mean, Green Bay could have won both games against the Bears. Jordan Love's going to be back this week. I want to see how healthy and effective Josh Jacobs will be and whether or not Zach Tom plays. Because Zach Tom plays, Green Bay's got its best offensive lineman back. Not that the Bears defense scares me because the Bears defense isn't the 85 Bears defense.
Okay. And, I make the picks regardless. I understand that there's some things up in the air. I got the Packers beating the Bears 24-23. I think
That's not going to make our Bears fan happy in 5 minutes.
No, I know, and I'm not going to be there tonight. And I would say, look, I'm not. I would rather see the Bears win the game. To be honest with you, I like to see teams that haven't been there in a while, and Chicago's going to be rocking, and Soldier Field will be great. But I think the Packers pull this off. Like I said, it's going to be close. I think they win by 1. I think the Eagles-Niners game will be close too. I think it could be one of those though that's not as close as the score indicates. I still have it.
Could it be like what happened on Saturday when Seattle dominating them was 13-3?
Right. I think this will be 24-21 Eagles, but I think it's gonna be one of those games, kind of like the Eagles last year. I think it was the game against the Rams in the NFC Championship where they dominated the game, but just the Rams kept keeping it close, and they got to a point where it's like they might pull this game off. And I might feel the same way about the Niners at some point in this game, but I think it's going to be one of those games that it lingers, but yet the Eagles pretty much have full control over the whole time. Where are you going with those games, Jamie?
I got Chicago beating Green Bay.
Okay.
I think it's going to be 24-21. I got the Eagles beating the 49ers. I got 34-10.
Wow. Okay.
And I got Carolina beating the Rams, like I said, 24-23.
Okay.
If that happens, Sean McVay might leave for prime that night.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Okay. Well, looks like we come to the end of our show. So, Joe, where can we find you in the social media world on Tuesday, January 6th, 2026, the first show and the first Tuesday of 2026?
Yeah, I can't believe we're saying that. I say that all the time. I'll be saying that. We could be doing this till 2035, and I'll still be saying stuff like that. But you can find me at Joe Dell Sports on Twitter, X, this program, sometimes on the open mic on this network here too. So I'm just putting my 2 cents worth in there.
Dylan, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. At Dylan at Sports One, Spunky's Spectrum Sports, Big D Podcast. Actually, you'll probably see me at the Open Sports Mic coming up here. This will be show number 3 in like 3 hours. Oh, gosh.
We appreciate you coming on this show, by the way. Thanks so much for doing that.
And then you guys can follow me, yours truly, at Bill's Chat 1 at Bill's Mafia Chat, and also Jamie Molloy, the unbiased journalist, at DJ Dog Tags on X, and theforkball.com, where I write about all sports. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell for notifications. For more content on Driving to the Top Productions, please visit our YouTube page, Twitch stream, Facebook stream, wherever you get your podcasts. And we would like to thank Dylan for coming on again. So thank you very much for listening. And remember, folks, congratulations goes out to Myles Garrett for obtaining the single season sack record, 23, passing TJ Watt and Michael Strahan. Congrats goes out to James Cook for getting the rushing title with 1,621 yards. First back since OJ to do it in 1976.
Wow.
And made the best team win Sunday. And the quarterback, Chris Berman, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. See you next week, folks.
Have a great week. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
2 run.